Welcome back, episode 22.
Still doing the numbers.
We're still, I think the numbers, as long as I can remember it, it may as well.
How can our eyes be real if numbers aren't real?
No. I think they're both real.
No, yeah.
But we were supposed to have Marky on the podcast for this episode.
Yeah.
And we said as much in the last episode, and he's not here because he wanted to cook a
we're
really...
horrible people.
Because Marky wanted to cook a really elaborate breakfast that took the entire morning to make.
That was worth it.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was a good breakfast, but it's your fault you're not on this, Marky. You could have been here. Yeah. Could have been here, but in the next one, or not in the next one, but next time you're down, we'll have you on for real. And we'll stick to that.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But there was something, and we were actually just briefly talking about it, but something that you've been doing lately, or saying that you're going to start doing, is farming.
Yeah.
And I figured this would be a good opportunity to ask you some questions.
I figured we would talk about this.
Yeah. So the way that I think it started was we were in the car talking about, kind of just jokingly talking about starting a commune. And that might have prompted you to look into communes and sustainable farming and subsistence farming. And I'm wondering, because I at one point had some plan to have a garden, and I made one and it died. I wasn't looking too deeply into how to garden, but I just made a little garden and it died. But
what did you plant?
It was just some tomatoes and random plants. Like it was
just on the deck.
It was what was in that little farming plot back there.
Oh.
Because I dragged it there and filled it with dirt for the purpose of having a garden. It used to just be way down the yard, filled with leaves. And I dragged it there, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to plant some stuff.
Nice.
Most of it died pretty soon.
Actually, one thing I've learned from the farming, or like the research stuff, is that tomatoes are really hard to grow.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like they're one of the harder ones. You have to have a bunch of nutrients and water and stuff.
Yeah, I think mine could have survived. I did it at the wrong season, though. I disregarded the seasons and did them like a month or two before winter was going to start. And I just didn't anticipate that stopping.
The same time that I'm doing this.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I thought like, oh, it'll just grow really fast and I can get some small tomatoes. But no, that wasn't the case. They all died from just being out in the cold. But I'll explain the sorry, we're moving on from the question you asked. Yeah.
The reason I started I want to start doing a farm type of thing is partly because the idea of a commune just like it sounds like a cool it's sort of like a romanticized idea of like living in the not the wilderness, but like living on a farm with some like group of like 10 or 20 people in like a kind of like a communal place where you just grow your own food and don't have to like interact with society. And that sounds like a very like the sort of thing that is not impossible to make, but like not something I feel like is worth considering. But just the idea of making a farm and like whether or not it's actually possible to grow your own food to like survive on your own. Yeah. It's kind of a cool idea.
Do you think it would be fun to just be on a ranch on your own? Like, does it have to be a commune where it's completely separate from society, or maybe just 90% of your time is spent on the ranch doing stuff, and I don't know, you have someone comes and just takes your vegetables away and you just live on the ranch in society using electricity and stuff?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like, I haven't thought too much about the specifics of it, but I don't like the idea of making a farm for profit.
Yeah,
because that just sounds like it takes all the fun out of it. Like, it sounds kind of like a fun thing to do to just like grow a bunch of food and that's the food that you eat.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're growing things for profit, you're growing like a lot more vegetables and a lot more like things that are more valuable than they actually like. They're valuable because other people think they're valuable and not because they provide more food or like calories or nutrients or whatever.
Yeah. So if you just did it for yourself, you could grow whatever you wanted and
grow things that like where the value of the thing that you grow is like you're growing it for yourself and for the purpose of eating it, not like for the purpose of like a fancy person making dishes and like they want some color in it, so they need some red peppers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't really want to grow food for those people. It's like they should be able to make the food fancy or whatever, but like that's not a fun thing to do to like provide for those people.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I am very curious to see how it's going to go because I anticipate it will be tougher to get. I think not that it will be impossible to do. Like, obviously, I think you'll be able to grow some of the crops and like have some harvests. But I think maybe by the end of it, I don't know why I think this, but I feel like we'll realize that it's a lot tougher to live off of the grown food than we might realize. Because I was looking out earlier at the size of the plot that you're getting, and I just can't imagine how many days worth of food you'll get from that.
Oh yeah.
And I imagine it'll be like a decent amount of work, and I think we're going to realize how tough people had it.
Who's we?
Like, or you'll realize.
Are you helping with the farm?
Yeah, you'll realize, and I'll realize by watching, and everyone, both of us will realize it one way or another. Or maybe we'll realize it's a lot easier than we thought, and there's not much work, but
I think like
something tells me it's tough.
Yeah, I think what or the people I'm doing like I think it's like 100 square feet or something, which is not like it's probably going to be like 1% of what you could or like what you would need to live up or no 1%, but like I think you're supposed to need like an acre or two of farmland.
Wow,
that's maybe not exactly right, but that sounds wrong. I don't know exactly what you need, but I'm not hoping like this is not. Like, I guess this could be like a scale model of like how much food you actually get. But
yeah.
I'm not expecting this to be anywhere near what I need.
No, not what you would need. No, I agree. Not what you would need for the year, but what I'm thinking is that you'll get a big harvest all at the exact same time.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess you could refrigerate some of it, but vegetables only last for so long. So
yeah. I don't know what I'm growing yet, actually. But
okay, yeah.
I'll grow things that I can either like dry or freeze or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I'll put some planning into like actually.
I see. That's good.
Not just having a huge,
just like a ton of tomatoes.
Yeah, huge harvest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not doing tomatoes.
No, you're not doing any tomatoes.
I'm not planning on it yet. Okay. Because I think tomatoes are really hard to grow.
What were you thinking of growing?
Yeah, I don't know. I need to figure it out. I think potatoes.
Potatoes are good.
I think garlic is easy.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
And like apparently rhubarb or beets are good.
Okay.
And then maybe some sort of grain or corn or not corn, but some sort of grain would be good because like. That's like a high calorie sort of thing.
Have you thought about doing chickens?
I actually did think about that, but not like something I actually do. But like,
why not?
Years in the future, if I have a farm, that'd be cool. But
what would be wrong with the chickens now? I mean, those sound almost easier than the farm if you just have a coop and then they're just there and you throw grain in. I assume that's all you need to do for them.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, but there's two main things. One, the cost isn't really like. It's like even on a commune or something, if you sell like $100 of vegetables a week, you can get like 1,000 eggs or something.
Yeah,
like eggs are like dirt cheap. I guess grain is dirt cheap for like or like wheat, but like the eggs are more like a luxury thing that like that wouldn't be really part of like the sustainable like the self-sustained farm type of thing, or like a less required part of it, I guess.
Like you wouldn't need them if you were going.
Yeah,
I feel like that would be what you would want.
No, like it'd be a good thing to have. But it'd be like an optional sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, for the nutrients, like, wouldn't you need whatever the protein is giving you? The eggs have a lot of nutrients for the baby chick.
Yeah, but like animals are like a inefficient way to get food because you have to feed the chickens more than the eggs themselves are like a secondary thing for the chickens.
Yeah.
Whereas like the plants is like if you grow the right type of plants, the plants are like
true.
Putting most of their energy into the fruit and the seeds and stuff.
So I see. So if you lived on the farm, do you think you would be a vegetarian?
You might have to be, yeah. Not like willingly, but like just as a result of it, yeah.
That just doesn't sound as good.
It doesn't, yeah. Also, yeah, the other thing about the chickens seem a little like, kind of like the birds, like having birds, but it seems a little like inhumane a little bit because they're like cooped up in this tiny thing. But
well, I think the nature of the farming is it's not really humane to any of the plants.
The plants are also
the animals.
like overcrowded, yeah.
Yeah.
What were you saying about the vegetarian?
Yeah, it seems like if you were going to do the farm, the chickens always sounded to me like one of the easiest ways to have a sustainable system because I agree, you could freeze dry a lot of the stuff and dry it out. But are all your meals for the year going to be like dried stuff and potatoes that have lasted? Like, I don't know. I feel like people have animals for the winter months maybe so that they can keep those alive because those are more hardy than plants, and then they do slaughter a cow when it's cold, and when it's cold they can just leave the meat somewhere like underground where it's still very cold, and I think that's what they used to do to survive. Like I think that animals might be necessary to.
Is it like necessary because that's the only fresh food you can get in the winter? Because like if you're putting the wheat underground, you can also do that for the potatoes.
Yeah, you could do that for the potatoes. Yes, that's true. Part of it is that. Part of it is also that I think you do want some of the meat nutrients.
Yeah.
I think it's a mixture of the two. And the chickens seem like they're a lot more efficient than, say, a cow would be. because the chickens, I feel like you can grow them pretty quickly, and you're just tossing them. Like you could even let them graze freely, right?
I think so.
That's something. No, that's something. You
Like
could,
free range.
yeah, yeah. You let them graze freely, and then it doesn't cost you anything. It's just you let them eat the crap on the ground.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it's no input from you. It's just time watching them.
Yeah, sorry. Like I feel like chickens might get away because they can fly a bit, but
Yeah,
But
in the
yeah.
backyard they would, but
yeah, within reason, yeah, that seems like a good. Yeah, if you have enough land, I think just like grazing animals would be good.
yeah, chickens especially, because think about it. I mean, if they lay an egg every day, and you have 6 chickens, that's 6 eggs a day. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Plus, you get a big chicken at the end of it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty reasonable. Yeah, I forgot about the fact that you can just have the like the unlimited food from the grass.
Yeah. I think that's the key reason why people did animals. I think it was only recently we started feeding the animals our food.
Right.
Like, I think
we still feed them kind of crappy food. But
yeah, that's true.
Stuff that could.
Like cornmeal, I think we use a lot.
Yeah.
Crud like that. But I think in the olden days, pigs used to just get the scraps off the table and that kind of like weird trash. And cows they would let graze, and chickens, I guess they would give just some grain, like
You can give them scraps too.
yeah, and scraps. Yeah,
They're omnivores, but
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I guess chickens would be more economical, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not too focused on that part yet.
the chickens just sound like I've always thought that chickens would be a good idea. Like even without the idea of a ranch or a
just
commune or
having
anything.
them,
Yeah, it always just sounded fun to get fresh eggs every day.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
When we start the commune, you can that can be
Yeah,
your
I'll be the
job.
chicken master.
You can be the animal,
Yeah.
the animal wrangler, or whatever. Yeah.
That sounds like probably the most inhumane job on
Yeah.
the commune, but
Yeah, probably.
yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think the farming will be like I'm kind of excited about it now, but I think it will kind of get to be a chore by the end,
I think
depending on how long it takes or like
Yeah.
how much work it ends up being each day. But
yeah, I
but
think
it'll be cool.
you probably won't be able to really get into it since it's not the right season for another couple of months. So
Yeah, it'll be mostly set up now
yeah, which
and like research and stuff.
yeah, which I anticipate that could take like a week or two if you're really going at it before you know your stuff. I would guess. And then like know it and have all of the equipment ordered and are ready to go, like ready to break ground on the actual farm plot.
Break ground.
Yeah, like you have to till it and
No. So I'm doing the cardboard thing where you I explained to Rob before the podcast.
you said that you're going to lay down cardboard.
Yeah, you should put down cardboard to like block all the weeds and stuff because the cardboard like is biodegradable or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a temporary thing where you can like put the cardboard down to hopefully kill things, and then you put like lanes of compost for the plants, and then like mulch in between them.
Oh, so
So
okay.
there's no digging or anything.
I
It's
see.
called no dig farming or whatever.
I see. So you're going to lay down everything that you like the growing medium on top of the cardboard.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. Okay, yeah. When
Right,
you were
right.
saying it earlier, I was thinking to myself, are you then going to drag the cardboard up after you kill all the weeds or whatnot? But okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it like the plants eventually go through the cardboard
Yeah. So why
So it's
did
sort of like a temporary
you
thing.
bother raking?
to get rid of the leaves and stuff. Because like if I'm putting cardboard down, I want it to be like kind of flush against the ground. I think.
Okay. Gotcha. Because I would have
Yeah.
imagined the leaves would only help like block the weeds also.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think they would like. They probably wouldn't hurt, but like it seems like a. I don't know. It seems better to have it be like a more just, like straight like dirt under it, because
Yeah.
I guess it could be like, once the roots get through the cardboard or like go past it or whatever.
Yeah, then it would get stuck on the leaves maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, like
Yeah.
they would compost eventually, but
No, that
I
makes
don't know.
sense.
seems better to have. Or it just at the time at least it seemed right. To
That's
get rid of the
interesting.
leaves.
Why did you choose that method instead of just like digging into the ground?
Because YouTube told me to. No.
Because you do.
It also it seems like you need the fewest tools for it,
Okay.
because you don't need to like dig or anything. You just
Yeah.
like add things instead of like
Mm.
doing things with the current.
Yeah,
ground,
yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Is that a sustainable way on a big farm, or is it just like if you have a little plot?
Yeah, I was watching some channel where it's this guy like makes a living off it. He has a pretty big farm,
Wow.
but I don't know exactly like, because he even said that you have to replace the compost every
Yeah.
year. I think
And the cardboard, what do you have to do with that?
the cardboard is just like the beginning. I think
Okay.
because it just kills the weeds.
Gotcha.
But like once you started it, there's no weed or there's still weeds, but not enough that you have to kill them.
Yeah.
But so you have to replace the cardboard or the compost, but I don't know if you like get rid of the previous compost or just like build it on top, because it would just get really tall after a few years. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
think building it on top would be good because the compost below should have, I mean, depending on what you're growing and what fruit you're either taking off of it or you're cutting down, the dead plants would go down into that compost and then decompose and add more nutrients back. So I think just adding on top makes the most sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess it seems like it would. I guess maybe it kind of like gets worn down and like some of it gets washed away and stuff. But like, it seems like after like 3 or 4 years of that, you just have, because it's like 5 inches. I think,
huge mound.
You just have like a few feet tall of compost like that.
I feel like
that's probably not what actually happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to say that it slowly just gets pushed deeper and deeper, like,
or it just goes away somehow.
Just gets compressed and becomes more like the earth underneath, where it's really tough, and that's why you need to till it.
No, ideally, I don't think it gets compressed.
Yeah,
or you'd hope that it doesn't.
Well, I mean, over the years, like the old compost,
like many years,
and then it gets closer to the ground. I would imagine.
That's hard to say.
Yeah, but that is a cool way. I like it,
and
cool. So
you approve,
I approve. Yes, I'll enjoy watching it happen.
Yeah.
And so the farming that you're going to do is starting in the United States, but I heard mention that it might move to Thailand at some point.
Oh, mentioned in the press conference that we had.
Yeah, exactly. And I was wondering what your thoughts were. Like, why do you think potentially Thailand would be a good place?
I sort of said that like offhand because it obviously would be way cheaper to live there.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. And the main reason that I've always thought, Thailand could be a good place is because it's really cheap. And thus it makes more sense to me to live there if you've accumulated money and intend on living in the society. But in the commune style of living, you wouldn't really be using a lot of money, I assume.
Well, yeah, but it's also, I thought about like you... If you start with very little money, the money that you get is still coming from the poor economy. So it's not like I guess like it seems cheap when you live in a rich economy and then have the money
travel
from it.
there.
Yeah. So I guess because the commune would be you still need some money for like the things that you can't make yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess it would make sense to almost like somehow like sell your things to the U.S. Like if you had like a bit of like extra vegetables or something.
Yeah.
You sell things to the U.S. and then buy things in Thailand.
Somehow. I could see it. Yeah, I could
buy the land
see it. It would be tough, like to transport all of the vegetables.
No, yeah, this
no,
is like
people do it. Obviously, people do it because we do get crops from other countries.
I'm joking.
Yeah, but it would have to be like a niche kind of thing. If you were,
In theory, that would be the right way to do it.
Yeah.
But...
It could be. There could be other reasons that it's better in Thailand, like less regulation around selling your food, and who knows.
Yeah. Actually, one thing you could do is if you do have a commune where it's like maybe 10 people or something, say it only takes 5 people to like tend the farm and get enough food and everything, and a few people to like go shopping or whatever and like do maintenance. You could have a few people that just have like jobs online or something and just do, I don't know, like programming or some just like American job or something.
Oh yeah.
And you can live in a different country and still get like an American paycheck.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that's what a lot of people do. They end up working remotely and they live in Thailand for the part of the year that they can.
Right.
And then they just collect the American paycheck and have a ton of stuff in Thailand. So that is definitely something you can do.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily need a commune for it.
It would just like it would free up the time of the other people.
Yeah.
So only like maybe 3 out of the 10 would have to do it.
Or only like 2 out of the 10 would have to do it, and the other 8 wouldn't actually have to do any farming because it would be enough to just sustain themselves.
Yeah. And then it would just be like a
actually
kind of like a messed up thing of just like
of 2 people are just sustaining the 10.
That seems wrong.
No, well, what if you did it instead? Everyone did work, but only worked for 2/10 of the time. They just did like stuff on Fiverr.
Ooh, or you scam a company and say like you get one person hired and then the other 10 like all work together on the same person's work.
Ooh.
You just
and
make
do they
it seem
get
like
a commission or get paid by?
I don't know how it would work, but like say like, it's like a 8-hour a day job and like I realize how you get paid. It's like
I see.
Each person works 1 hour.
Yeah.
And you all just somehow like pretend to be the same person.
That makes sense. Yeah,
that'd be really funny.
That is possible. Yeah. I bet there are people doing that, and that's a real possibility. But
you don't need to have the same knowledge of the jobs.
Exactly.
Like, all be computer programmers or something.
It could all be one thing. Yeah, that does sound very enticing.
Sounds
possible.
But...
But it's not exactly the same in the sense
Mhm.
that you would still have to be doing this work,
Mhm.
and the
The-
commune sounds more fun on a day-to-day.
Mhm.
Like just doing the farming, then
I mean, like the like out of society commune. Or
yeah,
no?
the out of society.
Yeah.
That sounds more, not more fun, but more closer to what you were talking about wanting something that's disconnected from society.
That's like the ideal goal.
Yeah.
Because society seems like it's made to make us unhappy, so that we stay in the society.
Did you think any more? That reminded me. Did you think
Mhm.
any more about the food?
Yeah, I thought it's a little bit more.
Hmm?
Do we have time to like talk? Like,
Oh yeah,
this, yeah.
yeah.
Basically, my idea is that like we've like since the medieval times, or like since before we were farming in like the Neolithic period or whatever, we've gradually been getting better and better at getting food. And part of the reason that farming is so good is that we could make a surplus of food with fewer people, and have some people that are set aside for like the artisan jobs and like making tools and like technology and things like that. And it seems like we've like improved the farming more and more, but for some reason we haven't gotten to a point where the farm or the food is free. Because if you think about like the improving the farming and making it more plentiful is the same thing as lowering the cost.
Yeah.
Where it seems like the cost hasn't gone down as much as it could have.
Mm.
And part of that, or it's hard to say exactly why. Part of it, I think, is that people have sort of like wouldn't accept, like if food was free, people would like probably not let it happen. Like the communism sort of thing doesn't work. And like there would be, sorry, getting off topic. I guess what I'm talking about, a food being free, almost like a communism type thing, where like air is free and we all share the air, and we don't really have to pay for it. But because we didn't we've never had to pay for it, we just accept that it's free, and we don't like steal air from each other or something. But the thing about food is that we've always it's like ingrained in us that it's like supposed to be something we have to pay for, and it's like a big part of commerce and everything. So if it was free, people would like not riot, but like there would be like too many issues. Like people would steal all the food for themselves, or like it would get too corrupt if it was free. But it seems like in like an ideal world, things would be like the food would be free, and all the things on top of like the phones and the cool technology would be what we actually spend our money on.
Yeah. Now I think the food.
That's like the premise of this argument.
Yeah. I think the food, the reason that it isn't free like air is because it still does take work to make. And so someone has to do it. And if it was...
Air might not be the best example we got.
Yeah, like if no money was changing hands, then no one would actually want to grow the food.
Right.
And I think that's why it's not free.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think, maybe it couldn't be like completely free, but it could be... Yeah, this is what I was saying before. It could be like, instead of like $1 or like, maybe like a home cooked meal costs $5 or $10 or something. It could cost like 5 or 10 cents. I mean, maybe not like exactly that extreme, but like in theory, the farming costs or takes so little time that it's like the farming itself isn't really the biggest cost of food, or like maybe it is, but it doesn't need to be, because if we really like automated and like optimized the farming and stuff, and just like devalued the food, or like didn't inflate the value of the food because we stopped considering it as like a scarce thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the value would go like the amount of work would be more in line with actual like money value, because I don't think the amount of work is that high.
Yeah. I just want to believe that economics is working similar to how it should. And I'm not saying that it's like 100% perfect and that the food is absolutely as cheap as it could be, because I'm sure there are people who are taking profits along the way, but I feel like it's probably really close, at least, to to as cheap as it could be, because no, it's not just the farmer that has to get paid. It's whoever invented his farming equipment and whoever delivers the food and the grocery stores that store it.
Yeah.
And I think we have gotten the food really, really cheap.
No, yeah, I agree that like I don't argue against that. Like I think in the current way things are set up, things are like set to like a exact margin where it's like each person along the way makes like 1% or something. And like that's the sustainable way for things to be set up. like from the starting point that we had of like the medieval society.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, everything has been built.
Mm-hmm.
Like, things were built, like the way we do things was built so long ago that it really hasn't been updated to the current technology. Where it's like, wait, I'm trying to remember exactly how I was thinking about this before. But it seems like the way things are set up is the issue, not whether the economics of them are right or not.
Like the way things are set up in terms of the logistics of how we farm, like where the farms are located.
No, it's not the logistics. It's more like the mentality about it. Of like, it seems like people value. What is it like? Yeah, this is the issue with like having like on the spot continuation of the conversation, because I don't like, I'm not the right, like, I don't remember what I was talking about before.
Yeah.
It's something along the lines of like, people assume that food has a certain value, and because of that, everything along the way is more expensive because it's like a higher valued thing. But if we realize that food is unlimited, at least in like the US, like the food is virtually unlimited.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's no reason for the things to like cost, like, it's because you have to pay the people who are like growing the food and like transporting and stuff. But it seems like the amount of money that goes into it is incongruent with the amount of like supplies that there are.
Like, where does the money go when we pay those people? Like, who's taking the extra?
Like, it's, I guess part of it's gone to like inefficiencies, but part of it is also just like, if there was less money going in, things would be set up differently. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like from the way this all sounds, it seems like I'm completely wrong and I'm just missing the point. But I need to think about this more. Like, actually,
you had a thing that you were saying yesterday.
Yeah, remember the thing I was saying. But
yeah,
I don't know. The part that I actually thought about in the meantime was a different part of the argument where you were saying that the idea that like food is free if we just go to homeless shelters.
Yeah,
I think that's a much more like a useful thing to like discuss, because I think the issue is that it is like for our viewers, like in theory it is, if you just wanted to spend no money on food, you could just like go to a homeless shelter and just pretend you're a homeless person and just get free food or whatever. But I think it's the same thing as like the idea that everybody could be rich if they wanted to be, or like not everybody. The idea that like we aren't slaves, because if we wanted to, we could like start a business and get rich or whatever. And it's like a very reasonable thing to do. But the reason it doesn't actually like the reason it means less than you think is because not everyone can be rich. Because if every poor person started a business and got rich, then there'd be no more like money would have no value or whatever. Like, it's an impossibility.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing with like the homeless shelters or whatever. It's like, if we wanted to, we could all like revolt and just go to homeless shelters and get free food. But there's no way that would have like you couldn't possibly have everyone do that. So to an individual person, the food could be free, but to the population, the food is never going to be free.
Yeah. I think that there's two things I'm thinking of. The nature of the food is that currently, since input has to go into making it, it will never truly be free. Yeah. Because someone has to do something.
Free as in like negligible cost.
Yeah. And I do think it's a relatively negligible cost right now if we buy the cheap stuff. But the difference, I think, between the everyone can be rich and the everyone can get free food is that for everyone to be rich, the way that we define rich almost is having more than the people around you. And so it really is impossible for everyone to be rich, because then you're all just the same and you're not rich. You're just middle class. And with the food, everyone actually could probably get free food from the homeless shelters. Not that the system's currently set up to handle that capacity of people, but that if slowly over time more people just started going, eventually everyone could go, and the government would just get more funding for that program, like just take more taxes and pay for it. And everyone could do it that way.
I guess it's more like, you could change society to like you restructure things to eventually get it to work. Yeah.
But like, there's not the impossibility like with the rich thing.
I see. Yeah. So that's not the best comparison, because it isn't impossible. But I guess it's more the idea that like neither one is going to happen unless things change.
That's true.
Yeah. Like the fundamental like aspects of them are different, but like the fact that they aren't going to happen is like they're both. It's almost like they're not really like, they're not invalid arguments, but they're not a useful, or it's more like an observation of like what is going to happen in the near future of society, where it's like people aren't going to get free food.
Yeah.
not because it's not like impossible, or like it's possible to happen eventually, but in the current society, you're not like, there's no way everyone's gonna realize they can get free food.
Yeah.
Just like no one's ever like, or like people aren't gonna realize that they don't have to like, I guess they can't ever be like monetarily rich, but they can just act less poor or whatever. Like spend less money or like spend their money better or whatever. Or, like,
yeah.
never mind. I'm sounding like a rich person.
I think that within the next
Yeah.
20 to 50 years,
Mhm.
once we have robots that are doing the manual labor, I think there will be free food.
Yeah, 50
like,
years.
widely available.
50 years is like,
That's a long time.
once we get like span like once we explore the galaxy.
Yeah.
So like that's the same thing. Like, yeah.
I know, but I think it could be as early as 20 years. Like when we're in our 40s,
Yeah.
I think there might be free food. And that's a pretty dramatic change. Like
Yeah.
I remember being, I remember close to 20 years ago. Not exactly because I was 3, but I remember being 5.
Yeah.
And that's not too far off.
When in the history books we talk about medieval times, like 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen in 1,000 years from now? You know.
Yeah.
Like not even like there's no, it's not a you can't really think like 20 years in the past is not gonna be like 20 years in the future.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like 20 years in the past is like 10 like 5 years in the future or something, or like some ratio.
Yeah.
So like,
but I think
I don't know.
20 years is what it's going to take to start getting the free food.
I think it's gonna take like, it's hard to know, but
Yeah.
20 years is gonna be so,
You think it's going to be less than 20?
it's gonna be unimaginable. Like we don't know what 20
Yeah.
years is gonna be like. We might not be eating food anymore. Who knows? Like,
Yeah.
we could be drinking liquid that has
Yeah.
calories in it. Like,
I just feel like everything has slowed down so much. Like over the
Yeah.
past few years, like it seemed like we were doing a lot.
yeah.
And there is
That's
cool
actually
AI
the
stuff.
AI that makes
There
the
is
videos
cool
now.
AI.
Like, I don't think
There-
we're slowing down.
No, there's really cool software stuff, but like
The government wants us to think we're slowing
yeah,
down.
yeah.
So they
there
can-
is really cool software
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of the physical stuff, like the
Yeah, I know.
phones have really gotten samey, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
The phones aren't doing that much. Like
yeah,
they're more like a opium for the masses type of thing.
yeah.
Like they're not the real like progress.
Yeah, but they're based on the technology that affects like what a robot could be. Like it's the physical hardware that you
Yeah,
would
I
use
guess,
in a
yeah.
robot.
Yeah, I don't know if the robots are going to be like that important. I think the AI is more like
Yeah, the AI
the
is
virtual
really good.
stuff. Yeah.
But in terms of like getting, at least for food production,
For food,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
need the robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like to be
Right.
widely produced, like yeah,
But sure.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about the food part.
no, yeah.
Like this is more like the video's over, but
Yeah.
the food is more like a metaphor for like the way society is set up, I guess. Where it's like things could be valued differently, but they aren't because like we've almost like dug ourselves into a hole or of some sort.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess no matter which way you go, you always end up down a certain path.
Mhm.
And I think we're down a pretty good path, like with technology advancing and stuff.
Good if you're in the right like part of it.
Yeah.
Like if you're rich, it's good, but if you're poor,
It's still better than
you
what
think
it was.
Joe Biden is God and Trump
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
Satan or something.
Yeah.
And like you have no mental freedom.
We got rid of all the Democrat viewers.
Yeah. or the other way around. God,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marky doesn't watch this podcast anymore. He's
No.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most people will probably click off once the video ends, if
That's-
they're watching.
I don't
But-
think they keep watching.
Or if they do, yeah, if they're listening to the audio or something.
Yeah.
or- yeah.
I think a lot of it comes from, or no,
Mhm.
not much comes from Spotify, but regardless, I think that they're just listening to it and whatever.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Who
Anyways,
knows? Yeah.
that was the episode. That was a 33-minute episode. So
Good.
3 bonus minutes of
Yeah.
whatever we were talking about.
Society.
Yep.
We live in a society.
We do.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Bye.